How you like that one then, huh?
I know where it came from.
You
It's
know,
great, Huna. I was enjoying that.
that's great. I just put my hands on the keyboard and found some chords and I started mumbling underneath it.
That was lovely. You can tell that's you.
Have you guys met, Huna and Dani? Have you met before?
Oh, yeah. We've done 2 broadcasts at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just everybody's live. We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. And I want to thank everybody for checking in and following along with us. As you know, my good friends here, David Mahoney from Mahoney.tv, HUNA Mareka, as many have known now, to know that he is part of our family. And Dani here as well from Kids Soul Speak. And been really wonderful with our new friendship with Dani. And we've had a couple of interviews, as everybody knows. Today is just like a casual conversation, as you know how I like to roll, you guys. We just flow with it and share a little bit about what our getting together soon. Talk about burning mask, talking about what some of that means to you, and what the mask has meant to us, and what its effects have been. But then also, I think Dani, she might draw us a couple of cards and do a little bit of a pendulum for us as well during this time. I really don't have any kind of questions per se. And I know Mareka, David, he's been so involved in like everything in the universe. It's just so many dimensions. He's been so involved. I mean, everybody. Now we just stop and listen. We hardly need to ask questions because it's just rolling out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's mental what's going on. Really, really entertaining. I mean, I'm right in the middle of both. You see, Dani, I call myself a shadow walker because I have to deal with this 3D stuff and getting the truth out and then slipping back into my spiritual journey as well. It's quite, I don't even think it's demanding. It's just, it seems to flow with me. I can just switch it off and switch it on. But the last few weeks with everything going on around the globe, it's very demanding. There's a lot of people pulling. They're all confused, reading and listening to the mainstream media, as they say. So I'll follow your lead, Huna. Let's talk about what's going on.
Well, I think that the burning mask might be an escape and a vacation from those, in some way, a kind of a vacation from all of that, what we've been having to deal with and answer to. And as well, Dani, this will be, this is your, we've invited you to come to the Burning Mask. Let me just give a little quick background on it, and then I'll just see what this mask thing means to you. About, was it May 2020, we did a ceremony live on Facebook, and it was called we called it Burning the Mask. And we actually did the ceremony with the codes and everything, full on vocal and everything, and the chanting and everything. And we burnt the mask right on Facebook Live. Back then, I guess there was no, fact checkers back then, or nobody was blocking us. So we got away with it. But I said back then, I think this is an opportunity to, in some stage, to come together in an event in person and live together, and just to contemplate and memorialize and think about, and maybe even, and there's some sorrow and pain, and then allow the joy to come through, to have a moment like that. And then Mareka and I have talked about this, that maybe it's time to not to just scream at people to tell them to wake up, they're getting bombarded enough, but to also share with them the awareness and awakening in a soft way as well. There's been enough tears. There's plenty of tears. There's compassion in those tears. Surely that's enough for people to grasp a hold of what has been going on, and what we've been going through, not just this last couple of years, but it has been decades, generations of it. And it's really what we've gone through is not really like a new lesson. we've had this lesson many times, and of course, society's been had the blinders put on it, the wool pulled over everyone's eyes, and it just seemed to sleep it away, and then just go through it over and over again, however many lifetimes, and we even, you even know you were in a lifetime before, we went all through this many times before. So it's the memorial is about remembering. The burning mask is a memorial to remember. Right after 9/11, not so long after 9/11, people forgot about it. I won't say everybody forgot about it, but it was no longer being, in the media and stuff. So as we came through that ceremony back in 2020, it was a lot of tears, a lot of sorrow, and there was a lot of anger. Of course, we were into the lockdown, and remember, we were for the first time, everybody was working out on with their gym equipment on the balcony, and it was quite amazing. At the same time, there were people playing concertos on the pianos from the balcony in Italy. There were all kinds of really interesting things happening on people's balconies all around the world. There was probably some things you don't want to see.
Yeah.
This was that moment where we all had to diversify. We all had to find our way through it all, and we did. And here we are now today, where Burning Mask is now going to be debuted for the first time in a wonderful, beautiful location. And you are both, we are both incredibly lucky to have you, both of you, attend with us, including Mel K, and also including the Mayan elder, Vania Iribes. She's an Olmec Mayan elder. We've been friends for a minute, and she's really graciously opened up for that. So if I can just, it doesn't necessarily have to be in any order. Maybe any one of you could speak to that time.
Ladies first.
Thank you. I'm not a lady, but thank you so much.
Beauty, then beautiful.
Beauty before the beast.
So, the mask thing, for me, I have this it's a rightly placed inner rage at the complete fuckery that's occurred on my planet, your planet, our planet. And I wish that once this whole scenario is done, which it's obviously dying, like the melting witch it is, that I don't want people to think back of this being such a historical time because of the repression, because it's so appalling that we've had to suffer at the hands of the little shit fetid turds that run our planet. But there's been so many beautiful things and so many tragic things, as you said. For me, my beautiful fiance, Jeff Smith, he dropped dead with a heart attack in our house in July the 30th, 2020. And the ambulance people brought him back to life. He'd been dead for 9 minutes. At that point, he was horrifically brain damaged. But then I had to go to the hospital. We were engaged to be married. We had a whole life. He was a beautiful, spiritual, angelic man. And I cannot tell you that the rage, the violence that came out of me, they tried to stop me going in. So I got in. I'm a pushy bitch. You don't keep me away from my man. You don't tell me you can stick your rules up your ass. I wore the mask. I took a blanket and a pillow with me. And I threw energy at the security woman above her head. And I threw energy hard, loving but hard, saying, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in. And then she went, I'm just going to let you in. I'm like, yeah, you are. And I went up and I got to be with my beloved. And then unfortunately, he was in a coma. He never woke up. But the tragedy from that was his mom, his dad, his children, his grandchildren, his brothers. We all had to suffer watching Jeff on Zoom because of the fuckery. We weren't allowed in the hotel, in the hospital room with him. It was absolutely beyond. And I remember thinking at the time, I'm a qualified therapist, and I'm also a spiritual person, a clairvoyant medium. I remember thinking to myself, if I allow my emotion to get caught up in this violence against us, this repression, this rules, I'm going to become mentally unhinged, and then I'm going to smack a bitch wherever I go. But, I really had to kind of pull myself together. and then take what we had with him. So we'd read him stories, and I used to read to him a lot. He wanted to learn everything I knew, and I was always been obsessed with Tesla. So I carried on reading over Zoom and sending him love. And anyway, he passed, and I got to be with him at the very end. But things like that, there are so many people who have lost, and people who've gone through operations that never came out, simple operations, people who have gone in with the, whatever you want to call it, the borona. Obviously, imagine at this stage and age of us humans, authoritative students and intelligent beings, that we have to not say the word. Don't say the word. Oh, I've had 2 strikes already. One of those and one of those. That's what I say. But stories like that are going to affect people, of course, their rage, their anger. Hopefully they'll sue the arse off every hospital, every rule, and do their own thing. But there are things that we've got to work ourselves and our emotions through so that we don't become angry, violent basket cases at the other side of this. And one very quick thing here, I did a little video months ago on I can't allow and won't allow the authorities that did this to us to take away any of the gifts and blessings during this time. And so I did a little video saying that our little ones, our offspring, because you can't say that word either, they have been learning telepathy. They have been learning telepathic communication. They have had to. I myself walk around with the stupid thing on wherever I have to, when I have to, until I get told to put it up. But and I'm flashing and sending love with my eyes, and other people are too. So I'm not going to give them all credit for holding us down and shutting us down, because that's not okay in my world or on my planet. So anyway, over to you, David.
Amazing.
Wow, it's a very heart-pulling story, Dani. I'm very sorry to hear that. Can I ask how old he was?
Only 58.
Yeah, you see, we're nearly there as well, HUNA. When you hear it's close to your own age, it strikes a heart nerve. Well, I'm actually, in a strange way, thankful for it, because it sent me on a really crazy journey, and I've armed myself with the facts. I've based what my spare time I had learning, studying, improving, growing stronger and stronger and stronger. And the amount of people we've reached through this telecommunications medium, through Zoom and calls like this, and the amount of people we've reached has been incredible. We would never have ever met all of these people had it not been for the lockdown. So there is some positive things for me, and I armed myself with what I call source. Some people call God. I armed myself with the armor of truth. And HUNA was witnessing, actually, HUNA's with me. We were together on many of these journeys where we walked through every single barrier that they tried to stop us. We found a way around it. We were trying to get to Peru, and we managed to get to Lake Titicaca in the end by using all sorts of trickery, but we made it. So I'm very thankful in a way. I haven't lost anybody close to me, but I've shared many stories like yours, Dani, with many, many people. And I've cried for their loss as well. But I'm thankful, because without this incident, we would never have been able to reach the hundreds of thousands of people that were awake. And there are. And we did a call 2 weeks ago. There was 540,000 people listening, to some middle-aged guy like me sitting in my studio in Spain. And we reached so many people. And the spiritual stuff as well, because not only do they need to know about legal rights, constitutional rights, how to deal with confrontation, how to deal with, like you had no access. You dealt with it very nicely. You were throwing invisible energy to the woman, let me in. But we've taught these people about who they are and what their sovereignty and the power of this special being that they have, this power inside them, really means, and how to use it. So with all of the dark stories, I'm actually thankful for what I've been through. Instead of just sitting here watching mainstream media, I've become certainly in the top 20 in the world of what we do. Between the Mel K's and Charlie and myself, there's Nicholas, there's many of us that spend our time broadcasting and getting the truth. I've stuck to facts, and I've shown people, okay, this is a photograph that they say, but it's actually taken from a video game. I show people how this blanket of mist we've all been living in is now being peeled back, so we can actually see the true light, the undistorted light. What's the HUNA word for that?
The Ni Marana.
Ni Marana. It's a great word. Ni Marana, undistorted light, that now all of us are waking up to see the truth. So with every yin, there's always a yang, Dani, you know?
Yeah, always balance.
So that's my turn of events. And now the whole burning mass thing, I think I'm very excited. We're doing 6 or 7 countries?
6 countries.
In 6 weeks.
Yeah, in 6 weeks. And boom, 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 boom. Like that. Yeah, like that.
But the people that will show up are the ones that are supposed to show up. And,
right.
You know, I think all of that powerful spiritual intelligence and emotional intelligence shared through this community, because we all don't have all the answers. And every time I meet somebody else, I'll pick up. I like what you just said there now, throwing that positive energy. I used to have the woman that woke me up used to reach in above my head and do this. She used to say, "Get German girl, get rid of all this rubbish. I can see it all around your head."
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for all of these people that will meet on this next part of this particular journey that HUNA's arranged gracefully. And I look forward to meeting you as well. That'll be fun.
You too. Yeah. All the Brits.
I like your guys' style, Dani. I'm just like, bloody hell, Dani. You just go through the door. Yeah, that's exactly. And Mareka, you know, I think with Mareka, he educated us on how to get through these portals and get past these gatekeepers.
Yeah.
He actually educated. He gave us the words to speak. You know, so and like ever since that moment, you know, we were. Well, even before that, probably we were pirates, right? So we took the energy of the pirates. And I know, Dani, that you're a pirate too. Of course you are. You know.
Oh yeah, I'm a ball-busting, kick-assing pirate. Absolutely, yeah. I didn't come here to fit in. Nobody did. There's a lot of people don't realize. You know, we came back for a reason. You know, to unify our beautiful planet, to bring everyone together, and to take away the authorities that don't have a place on this bloody beautiful earth, and you know, to get all that right. That's for sure.
Certainly, everybody's been doing their hard work, and they've been in the ways that they have been having to put up with this let's say catalyzation, yeah, because there's been a catalyzation, but that sounds too much like cattle. Right. It's just a little too much on the cattle side than the catalyzation as following along. But we are, and I've said this before, I'm grateful for that moment. Somebody asked me a couple of years ago what I thought of this corona thing that was on its way. This is when it was back on its way. The funny thing was we just finished a ceremony on Mount Sinai in person. There were 13 of us. On February 12th, 2020, we just completed the coronation ceremony to crown the human family, to crown the royal family. And right after that, somebody asked me, what do you think of this corona thing? And I said, it's going to be a unified consciousness moment. And it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful in many, many ways, but it's not a lesson we don't already know. Somehow, even somehow we keep doing it to ourselves, or it's being done to us. I always say, you know, and I've always said, even though that is quite apparent, I've always said that we shall remain innocent. We shall remain innocent. If this is a movie, and this is the Matrix, and this is an illusion, as many have said, and if this is a hologram, as many have said, what's with all the tears, right? Well, that's because it's not an illusion, and it's because it is. We remember. It's because we remember, and I say this is where the tears of the dragon come from. That's because we remember, and the tears of the dragon. We have to decide: are these tears going to be for pain and sorrow, or they're going to be for joy, for love, for liberation and opportunity? Do we fight our way through those tears? Yes, internally we do, and we have. And so Burning Mask is going to be an incredible, powerful moment in person with you, in person, not just the online. And the in-person moment, we're going to show up at these six countries we're going to, these 6 nations. Whoever can show up, and I'm challenging Mareka, please. Your presence is
I'll be there. Don't worry.
Around the world, your presence is loved around the world. And Dani, we're getting to know you and everybody to invite everyone to show up and stand together this way in ceremony, not just in politics and in the in the institutional laws and all of that, and all these things are going to do the work in the governments and stuff and beating up against their doors, but also in the ceremony where where we are doing programming in the spiritual world through the ceremonies. This is a programming. What we say in the spiritual world happens in the physical world. Yes, it takes time. It takes time to cook. It takes time to when you stir the pot and you put it on the burner and you start cooking everything. It takes time for it to mature. And we're at that moment where our global societies maturing, right? There is even the adolescents today, the youth, the adult youth are now maturing at a faster rate. They still need help. I'm not saying they know it all. That they do deserve to be supported, and how that they see the world today too. Because remember, they may not remember. Some of them actually do. So we've got to stand together. Burning Mask, we're so fortunate that we're going to have you guys. We're going to have elders from different cultures. We will have the Mayan elder. We will have the Sami elder from Norway. We will have also Siberian elders. We will have the possibility is high to have a Native American join us too. So these ceremonies will be absolutely energetic and powerful. Now, our online presence, and that's part of the really wonderful part of having you guys here, because you have thousands in your channels. And so the however many we get to stand together in person, there's going to be thousands and thousands online. So we are streaming live from every location, every Burning Mask location.
Yeah, it's a massive re-education for humanity, because before, all of the fools at the top that place themselves through nepotism and satanic ritual and family to family, etc., there was always this beautiful indigenous planet that we were all in balance with, no matter where we were from, no matter who we were as a soul group. And we've always needed to understand from the elders, from the indigenous, the song lines, the vibrations, everything, how it all comes together in reverence to her as we share our lives on, Mother Earth, Pachamama's, beingness. And the only weapon that the small little, turds at the top have is fear. And of course, that's what they've used to systemize everything. However, now the massive kind of joyful awakening, and people are just so pissed off now. They're like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm not raising my kids in this fear-based, monstrosity. And it's just a really beautiful thing. And there's so much to say here. But David, do you remember this years ago, this advert on telly? And it was this little ant, and it goes forward, and there's an insurance company. The little ant says, "Excuse me, hello, excuse me." But the man at the top, he says, he just ignores it, and the little ant goes away and comes back with billions of other ants, and you can hear all these footsteps coming forward, and all the ants stand together, and they say to the man, "Get out of the way!" Like that's
vaguely, yeah, I kind of do remember that. Yeah.
Iconic, and that right there is to me like a real expression of this is what we're doing. We're like, you're done, boys and girls. Step aside. Humanity's coming through, and our weapon is love.
Absolutely. You're talking about elders there. I was talking to a woman in Australia. Louise is her name. Every morning I get a voice message from her. She's a therapist, and she works a lot with spiritual healing too. And she told me about a story about an Aboriginal elder. And the story goes somewhere along the lines of, "Are you not concerned about getting sick?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Why?" He says, "Well, in our culture," he said, "only the people that get sick are the ones that have disconnected from the spiritual source." And I thought, oh, and that's all it was said. That's all he said. He didn't explain it more, but it's very true. From what I've noticed, talking to people and the emails and messages I get, is the spiritual guidance has grown so fast and so strong at an exponential level that everybody needs this little bit of guidance. And you know what you said, we're not here by accident. This particular chosen time, we have chosen to be back to witness this. And all of these people have this information here. They remember, we remember. And it's just a matter of tuning it in. What I like about the work that HUNA does is he gives them the ways to remember this, to retune in, so they can feel the answers and stop thinking about what things to do. Because they, as you say, the dark ones at the top of the heap have based all of this with distraction and fear. It's gone from one bad guy to the next, whether it's bin Laden or Saddam, or now it's Putin. You know, there's always somebody else, Kim Jong-un. You know, you've got a whole list. And in fact, I've got a list of distractions, what we've all been bombarded with here since all of this started.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got secret space force, underground tunnels, Hillary Clinton, the Obamas, Trump and Flynn. Are they good guys, bad guys? JFK's coming back. Lady Di still alive. Michael Jackson, Elvis. We've got Iraq, Jassara, the RV, alien invasion. We've got the Ukrainian situation, flat earth theory, Atlantis, Antarctica, adrenochrome trafficking, the 13 bloodline Illuminatis, the Jesuits. We've got 9/11, and then all of a sudden everyone's dying from having a jab. So, and that's just
Wow.
a sprinkling of what they're being distracted with, because people don't have time to focus on what they really need to focus on. And that's the answers they have in here, because they're listening, they're watching television, they're reading articles on the internet. And at the end of my shows every time, Dani, I tell people, I say, listen, turn your phone off, go for a walk in the forest, disconnect from all the electromagnetic interference in your life.
Definitely.
Reconnect with nature, take your shoes off in the morning and evening, ground yourself, get back into nature, and you feel the answers like that. Mm-hmm. So the distraction and lies that literally we're being cannon shot at from every single angle, from when you wake up in the morning to, you know, even someone you work with, they're all at it. And I used to be aggressive in that as well, but now I'm soft. I'm saying, well, have you actually, you know, they say, have you seen this photograph? Look at this photograph. So we'll put that photograph into Google Pics and just see if it's ever been used anywhere. Go on, I'll help you. Oh, it was used in 2016. The real gas explosion in a different part of the Eastern Europe. Oh, but now the mainstream media telling you that happened because Putin blew up that building and that woman was killed. But really, it's a picture from 2016. So you got to wake them up slowly. But with that being said, I really believe that not everybody is going to wake up. I think some people are so far, it's going to take them decades to get there. But that's all right. That's their karmic journey. That's the journey they chose. Once they came back, I'm not angry at them. I'd just like to help them. And responding with love, Dani, like you said, when we have all of this built-in rage and we are angry about being kept away from our loved ones and stop traveling, we can't do the things that we enjoy to do. But the only thing that smothers that is use the love and light to push it out the darkness, because darkness can't exist where there's light. Just shine that bright white light that we all have straight in there.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you mentioned 9/11 earlier, and that was the biggest opportunity for the entire planet to go, hang on, what is this? What has happened here? And there was that amazing film, Zeitgeist, the first one that was made, Peter Joseph. And what an opportunity to have a look at all the systems of religion, how every single major religion, without exception, that is forced on the planet has the same Trinity, this, you know, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, etc. The same stories, walking on water, Vishnu, Krishna, and this man put this work together. I knew a woman who interviewed him, Karen. He went underground for 2 years because he was threatened with murder for the work that he'd done in this film. But the actual event of 9/11, the event of the towers falling, and it's such a, I mean, you didn't even need half a bean for a brain to see a controlled demolition. I mean, like we've all seen controlled demolitions, and then, you know, just the mechanics of the kerosene and the plane and the heat, and come on, and the firemen underneath saying there were built-in explosions. But the most remarkable thing to really doubly wake people up to the fact that this was a planned inside operation was in that circle of buildings where the two towers stood. a little bit over to the left was a building called Building 7. And it was a much sturdier structure. Building 7 just collapsed all by itself. It didn't want to be left out. It just collapsed in a controlled demolition into its own footprint. That was the building of the CIA. And the day before, those buggers had cleared the entire building out, all servers, all computers. This is fact.
Yeah.
Then they brought out this 9/11 commission report. It was over 900 pages long. Nobody's got the time of day for that, but they knew it. So I met these two guys a couple of years later in Hollywood. They were very popular with creating a lot of the Marvel characters. They're probably dead right now, God love them. They were pretty old when I met them. And they created a comic book, a 9/11 comic book, to, again, highlight, some of the things that the masses had ignored or had been guided away from. But, in 9/11, that was such an awakening moment. However, we were so still hardwired and programmed, don't question authority, those bad Talibans, that naughty Bin Laden. And Bin Laden, was his real name Tim? I forget now. I did know it. It's gone out of my brain for a moment. He was bloody CIA. He was a bloody CIA agent. Like, hello. He wasn't an idiot in a cave. He was, the evidence from the masses of people, and some have been murdered, of course, or silenced. But if just a mass of people go back into that energy vibration and go through all of the facts and bring that into the fore too, to really highlight this kind of embroidery of examples and opportunities we've all been given to have a look at, that the top of the planet, the leadership, the non-elites, but they put themselves there, at the time's up. Move on, guys. Step aside.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of pain. People are just not even going to be able to accept the depths of depravity and skullduggery that these people have been doing. I mean, I've uncovered so much stuff.
There's such audacity. You know what I mean? Such audacity. Now, there was one gentleman I recently had listened to. I forget his name. He's in Australia. He's a finance guy and he works with trusts and estates. And he decided he was going to do a live feed right from a cemetery. And he was explaining about estates and trusts and how it correlates to wars and the depopulation of the planet and as many deaths as possible, so that the ones with the audacity can continue to scoop and harvest the estates of those who have passed away. That he's saying, and this gentleman was saying, that this is the number one reason behind all of the wars, is that they keep taking over the estates of those who passed away through all kinds of tactics.
Well, inheritance tax is ridiculous. There's one that straight away, that you shouldn't be paying that.
And he was this was about for all the last bunch of wars we've had. We can go back 1,500 years on this, and that's just been harvesting. That's what they've been all about, harvesting the money and the gold from estates.
Talking about Building 7, Dani, Building 7, we heard that if the gold that was in that building disappeared, it's turned up in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And they took it underground to the maglev station. So there are magnetic levitational train technology that we've had from 1900, actually 1897, with Nikola Tesla. And all of this incredible, brilliant technology he brought to the planet was taken and kept from the people. It's like every time I fly, I'm like you guys, don't tell me I can't travel. I've just come back from Florida yesterday. None of that nonsense. I've been to Mexico, Chichen Itza in the last couple of months. I'm in Costa Rica right now. I'm going to do me. You can all complain and worry about you, but I'm going to do me. Right? I'm not playing. I'm not playing, right?
Playing.
Yeah, but you're on a plane, and I'm like, and I've worked in the space industry for years. I had my own space agency. Everyone had to come through my front door to get into some of the biggest space companies, satellite, ground systems, off-planet, geostationary orbit. And I'm like, you have the technology to not fly so slowly. You know, we had supersonic Concorde, or Concorde was taken down because there was a bit of garbage or debris from another plane on the runway that got sucked up into Concorde. People died. So they took all 6 Concordes down. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Not. You know, and it's just the repression on the humans to keep them back from those struggle on a plane. It's going to be really noisy and stressful on your sensory system, on your electromagnetic field. When I went through the airport yesterday, I got into the line, and you know that thing that you stand in it and you put your arms up and stuff. I opt out, and everyone, you can opt out. And also everyone, you do not need to have that abuse, that violent sticky thing up your nose, which is done by largely non-medical personnel. You can, if you have to do that nonsense, they can do it in your mouth. They can just do it in your mouth. Done. Up your bum. There you go. You got it. You know, honest to God, I swear that is what we can all do. Up your bum. Right? That's like music, up your bum.
Don't go back, Dani.
No, I can't. No,
I mean, it's exactly right. When I went to Norway the one time, I finally decided, they had the random test at the airport when you come in. You had to take it, right? And this was recently, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll let you. You know, for the one time that I finally took a test, the thing was negative. You know, and I had been traveling for 2 years. Me and Marika went all over the world, and I've been all over in every airport. My mask on for a moment, on and off, whatever, and most of the time off. And I was negative anyway, even when they took a test. So
one airline now called Jet2 have dropped the mask. It's a British holiday tourist airline. They dropped
very
it.
Smart, very clever.
Everybody will book that.
That's a good business move, right? That'll show the others.
Let's take that plane. Yeah.
I'm going to Ireland, HUNA, to finish the Egyptian story. So I'm going for St. Patrick's Day. Akhenaten Nefertiti. Do you know that one, Dani?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah. Akhenaten Nefertiti, parents to Tutankhamun.
Princess Skota.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish that. I'm taking Nick Sylvester. He's flying all the way from the west coast, from Oregon State. So I've invited him to come with me because I want to get inside his head about his off-world stuff. So I'm going to do 3 or 4 interviews with him at a fireside.
You know what's really interesting about the fact that you're going to be bringing more information from Akhenaten, and for those that don't know, of course, billions of people do know the story, but some that don't, was that Akhenaten was one of the pharaohs who tried to forcibly get everyone into alignment of worshipping the sun god Ra, like one specific god. You know, and it didn't work out too well for him, you know, and again, globally, you know, all the indigenous beautiful people, you know, like let's take Canada, the children's homes were dreadfully taken and filled with these beautiful indigenous children that never saw their parents again. Because the bloody Christians and the bloody Catholics and the, you know, no one has the right. Now you're savages. We're going to train you, maim you, make you take a modern name, not your own beautiful indigenous name. And you know this, HUNA, you know, New Zealand. Yeah. And those people, the generations are suffering so much. But we're coming back to a time where we're just going to do what the hell we like. We're going to go with whatever vibration suits us. And for me, it's never been just about one God or one Godhead, because we are flipping God. We're that spark. That's what our soul is, a spark of the initial creator.
I recently posted this on my page on Facebook, from the phrase of Jesus, or they don't say a J anyway, right? So it's like either a yeah or a hey or he. Now, and Su, meaning, speaking about my understanding, the energy of the sun as a child, or the sun as the literal sun in the sky there. And so I got to the energy of this, and I came to the sun god, Jesus, the sun god. Now, Akhenaten's city was just revealed in Egypt just recently, right? It's called Aman. And Aman means the sun god. It means or the one God, right? And so all of this has started coming through again. Egypt is popping through again, and there's so many ceremonies taking place there. Everybody's pilgrimaging again to Egypt, and you know, whether people think I'm crazy or I'm wrong, or but in my understanding, and they're speaking about for me, it's the child of light. When you spoke about the Trinity earlier, the Trinity in my understanding of the right relationships of undistorted light is mother, father, child, and the eternal memory at the center of it, and that the Son God or is referring to the child of light, which is not just only Jesus. It is the potentiality of all of us coming into that together, right? If we are to say we are all Jesus, or we are the Christ, we are of the Christ crystal light, the undistorted light. And
Ni
so,
marana.
the Ni Marana, and so when Marika said he going to Ireland, I did earlier, been a couple of years now, or maybe a little bit longer even, that I did the ceremony for Akhenaten's daughter, Princess Mirabaten, in Ireland, and that's that moment when I teleported. But this is all still relevant, and it's almost like when we were talking and we did the ceremonies for the seat of queens in Ireland, all this recognition is starting to come through, and you going there to do this work is brilliant. We need that.
I'm going back to pick up and drop off, HUNA. You know me. I'll be coding in.
Let me just switch over here. Like we've got probably like 15 minutes or so. Dani, you mentioned, and I invited it actually, if you'd like to drop a card or two, see if we can, if we have a question. Tamaki, is there a question out there? Maybe we can drop a card to it. Maybe Marika has a question to ask the cards.
Yeah, we could come up with something. I think the word on everybody's lips right now is Ukraine. So let's base a question on that. Rather than a time frame, let's see what the outcome will be.
What is the outcome of
the outcome of the conflict in the Ukraine?
So we're asking about the outcome of the conflict in Ukraine minus a timeline. All right.
Timelines can be misinterpreted. I don't really ask for timelines too much.
It's too much. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is the first card. This is Sekhmet again, or Sekhmet, Egyptian goddess. Yeah. This is the transformational light is coming up here. The blue represents the royal blue, the lapis lazuli, the stone of truth. And either side, we see the lion represented. A lot of people love the Christian icon, the lion, the Aslan. And this is a very powerful card saying, everyone, be strong, hold on. Hold on, there's change coming now. Oh my God, the children. The children are coming to the fore. Yeah, there's going to be some painful truths, but the children are the main focus here. That makes you want to cry. Card number 3, compassion, Kuan Yin. This is having compassion for each of ourselves. A lot of people are going to be falling apart. They're just going to be looking and they're going to be cursing themselves and harming themselves. And we ask you, please do not do that. It is not necessary. You've all suffered enough. There is so much help here. Oh my God, this is the burning through of all the lies. This is the passion in every single being, bar none, coming up to the fore, being cleansed in the light too. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, it's 4. I'm being asked to stop on 4. I've got so many goosebumps right now. The 4 days, 4 weeks, not 4 months. That's too long. So within this 4-week period, inside of the 4 days and the 4 weeks, we have a massive, I'm hearing the word cataclysm, but it's almost like an orgasmic, like explosion of just energy, where it's like, well, for the top layer, they have lost access to their power now, where all the good boys, like, you know, you had the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, they're all mates, like, we'll handle England, you guys do Australia, you do America. They're all stabbing each other in the back. They're all continuing to spell, and they're all stuffed. And they are all now the inversion themselves. So with all of that, you know, falling down, like ashes falling down, this is the people coming up. And the Ukraine is one of the last bastions of this. Final card. Oh my God, do not back down. Bridget, the Irish goddess, hold on to your light. You hold on to your soul light and you do not back down. So let's do a pendulum here. This is going to be a yes or a no answer. So ask me a question that will give us a yes or a no answer.
Oh, who's got the question? That's you're putting all the pressure on. Okay, after the Ukraine, are we going to see the same thing in Taiwan?
So after Ukraine, are we going to see a kickoff in Taiwan? Whoa. Now, when it goes back and forward like that, that maybe. Is maybe. But that's also Spirit's way of saying we are not meant to know whether that is a yes or a no right this moment. We are meant to observe that the way things are, there's a very potential possibility. There's a maybe, because we have the power to arrest and resist and stop this happening. That is why the pendulum is going to a maybe.
Okay.
Makes total sense.
If I can jump in, I just got a message that Tarot by Janine. She also just momentarily said 4 weeks.
She did. Excellent.
And by the way, 4 of those cards are my ex-wives, so that's something interesting.
in this life.
Oh, this ancient wives, right? Pele,
yeah,
especially Pele.
It's not. This is ancient, yeah.
Pele.
Bridget, well-known. Bridget and I are well-known. Okay, let me just say. But that was really interesting. I got a message that Tarot by Janine, right when you said 4 weeks, she said 4 weeks on the shift. Now, the pendulum to me is a potentiality, right? It's not, the maybe is, I don't use words like maybe. I mean, the energy is maybe, but it's more precise than that. It is potentiality, which is another way of saying maybe. But well, I think we have some things to look forward to, right? Potentially so much to look forward to with the lineup of those cards. You know, Pele, the volcano, and the burning of the false and the lies, which is the burning mask. It's burning of the mask as its physical piece, but the burning of the false face, all the false imagery and the lies. You know, exactly what represents. In my language, Pele refers to the bell, which means the calling of the bell. Pele means also the katangi ate pere, which also means the crying of the bell, and it's the calling. So calling to burn the mask, to burn the lies, pull it all down. And yeah, Bridget, she's going to reinforce it. All right.
Totally. Do not back down. Yeah, do not back down. It's in the deciding not to just go under the threat of, you have to pay your mortgage. You've got to do this, otherwise you can't buy food in the store. You gotta. Once you say that, I'm done. Get out of the way. Step aside, small ones. Step aside. We're coming through.
I'm going to try to find that advert, actually.
Yeah, it's classic. It's brilliant. It is so brilliant. And again, just really does shine the light on us, the masses. We are the masses. There will be no more kings or queens. There will be no more one person, one elder running everything. That doesn't work for us. Humanity is an evolved species. We're going to continue to evolve without the repressive rules. They don't suit any of us. We're all rebels.
Everybody will be HUNA.
Building an army.
One in the many and many in the one. What we are.
It's the 4 week thing is pretty accurate from the intel that I get. So I'm doing a live show in an hour now, and that's something we're talking about. I've always said this will last 3 or 4 weeks before it blows over.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. I was curious about Taiwan because I believe that the reason that China, anything that they tell us is bad, we know is good.
Yeah.
So what the American government, well, most of them have been saying is, Taiwan, they were amazing, and China would kind of take over. It's the other way around. And there's more bio weaponry labs in Taiwan that we've been uncovering as well. There's an army of raccoons out there. You know what raccoons are like, Dani?
Oh, yeah, it's the one the other night.
They're cute and they're mischievous, but they get in everywhere. You cannot keep them out. And this is what this team of digital warriors are all over the world, because they get in everywhere. The U.S. Embassy took down all the paperwork from their Ukrainian department showing exactly who's funding these 15 biochemical research laboratories. They took it all down, and then the USA Today said, we fact check it, and it's not true. So, how do you explain this? This. They can't keep it in. And there's much. And another interesting point, you mentioned the Hollywood a little bit earlier. Yeah. Oliver Stone made a really great, superb documentary in 2014 called Ukraine on Fire. And it's been up everywhere for years. It was on, you could find it easily. Monday, they took it off every single website they could. They banned it, but it's still out there. I downloaded a copy because I thought this is going to be taken down. It's funny because he talks about the truth, the history, why everybody wanted this country and why the corrupt, satanic cabal have always been trying to control it. But it's out there. If anybody wants it, you can find it. It's an amazing documentary if you get the chance because, you know, like I said, I go through the spiritual side, but I also have to walk alongside the darkness so I can understand how to fight them better.
Okay, just a couple minutes left. So anything before I share a little bit of housekeeping, but if you'd like to share something before we cut out of here.
For me, I'm very much looking forward to getting to Mexico and kicking this off. I think it's an amazing location, HUNA. So thank you for putting it all together. I remember when you started talking about it a couple of years ago. I was having a beer, you weren't, and I thought that sounds good. And here we are, 18 months later, and we're about to kick it off. So it's great. Well done.
Thank you for helping it along, brother. Dani, any?
Yeah, just a quick thing. While everyone is coming to understand how absolutely brilliant and magnificent and magical they are, no joke, you know, we're remembering things from the past. You just said about Akhenaten and you know, Nefertiti, Tutankhamun, and people are really curious now about the Egyptian mythology. Of course, there's much mythology before that, but you mentioned Amun, HUNA, Amun. And if you look at the word Amun and the vibration of it, this is what the earth is collectively bringing back, all the loving vibrations. Amun is a sound vibration frequency from amen. Many people say amen or amen after a prayer. Also, the om sound, the primordial sound, which is from the music of the spheres. So every single planet, bar none, has its own musical sound vibration that can be measured mathematically. The sounds have been captured. It's all over boob tube. You can look up Saturn and hear, for example. And then so we have Amun, we have amen, we have om. Some people say the word Om, which is the primordial sound within us, was changed to Amen. But irregardless of all of that, the one thing I want to leave with people right now is the I am. So I am Dani. I'm sitting with David. I'm sitting with HUNA. I'm discussing things that warm my heart and sending love to you all. I am. But without the I am, there's no story. We all live inside the stories, all the stories you mentioned. So we're picking a story. What are we going to focus on? What are we going to focus on? We focus on the I am, the person. Take your energy up. Take your energy into the bliss. Go sit there. Go hang out. I woke up the other day, a couple of weeks ago. This was terrifying. And I woke up, I opened my eyes wide, and I'm in this blissful place. All there was like orange and yellow bubbles and energy. And all of a sudden, something beside me put a screen in. I was like, fuck you. You know, how dare you? You know, fired those guides that day as well. Fire your guides. Who are you talking to? Do you know him? Do you see him? Are you like, oh no, my guide Socrates, sorry. Please, come on. Get out of the ego, rise up, sit in the light, sit in your light, practice that. So much to say, so much love to give, and I guess that I should stop.
That was great.
That was great. Bloody hell, Dani. Boobs, bumps, and fuck you. Jeez.
Forget YouTube.
Just keeping it real. Keeping it real.
Listen, thank you both. We'll put the links to your significant channels, and I know Mareka has a few channels these days, so they might take up the whole list underneath there. But we'll get everybody's links on there. You can just briefly, you can reach David Mahoney at mahoney.tv, and Dani on at Kids Soul Speak. Is that right, Dani?
Well, no, that's just the fake book name. It's Dani Spiritual Therapist. Dani with an I, D-A-N-I, Dani Spiritual Therapist. That way you can find my channel and then track back from there.
Dani Spiritual Therapist. And just a reminder, Burning Mask, you can go to www. Did I say you had the right amount of W's there the other day? Okay. .hoh.earth and Burning Mask. You'll see the itinerary there, and you'll see the countries listed there. We will be there. It is right there. Thank you, HUNA Tamaki. I'd like to thank HUNA Tamaki for taking our day, our moment. Thank you so much. That's it from me, I guess. welcome to this is our new platform we've been working with. Restream, if you like it, go ahead and use it. I think it works pretty good because you can go simultaneously to Facebook and YouTube and other platforms that are coming along there too. So glad everybody was able to get in here. Sorry, didn't take any questions from the chats. I just noticed the chat's on now. Look at that. Cosmic love to everybody. So much aloha. Sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds. Thank you so much. We'll see you
Dani,
again.
I'll see you in Mexico. I look forward to chatting more. We have a lot of points I'd like to start picking your brains about. HUNA will speak next week, I guess. And everybody have a blessed weekend. Fill your life with love and light. And don't listen to whatever they're trying to put in there. Keep that white, shining light. Use it as an armor of source or God or whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Definitely.
Epic. See you guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Lots of love. Bye.
Thank you.